Welcome to the Meaningful People Podcast, the podcast where we talk to people who are...
meaningful.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Wow. Jacob, what a year it's been.
It's crazy.
Can you believe we're back here doing another year in review?
A year in review for season 2. Forgot how to talk right there.
Yeah.
I really thought this would be the end of COVID year, but that didn't really happen. But there's really so much to talk about on these episodes, and I'm just going to tell the listener we're going to talk about at the end of this episode Amar'e Stoudemire and what it was like to sit down with him, what it's like been since then, kind of.
Life-changing.
Should we tell everyone about our friendship and our WhatsApp chat?
Totally.
Okay, so we'll end off with that. But let's start off from our first episode of season 2, Shmuel Beller.
Yeah, the Holocaust survivor. Was our first Holocaust survivor that we did a podcast with, I believe.
Yes, it was. Yeah, good call.
And someone who's extremely emotional, and he's able to express his feelings in a very real way.
When's the first time you saw him, was that by Sima Shas?
I think the first time I saw him, there was a video on YouTube of him going around. I think he went to the concentration camps with Tara Shimon.
Right.
And he was speaking, and it was just really heartfelt.
Yeah.
So to have him here and tell his story, I remember listening to him talk as he was speaking. I'm just thinking, like, the words he's saying are not registering in my head. Like, what do you mean you were standing outside for 15 hours straight, just standing? Like, what does that even mean?
It's really crazy. Yeah. And something that I don't think we mentioned this, that he lost his wife a few months before we shot the episode, and his grandson was like, don't bring it up. It's obviously a good topic and talk about loss and whatever, but it's like, don't bring it up. Like, he loved her too much, and like he'll just start. I mean, as you could see, he was crying a lot during the episode. And it's like that specifically. Obviously we want to do as many Holocaust survivors as we can, but he definitely felt like a good person to start off with. Yeah,
that's definitely a focus for us. I think we want to sit down with Holocaust survivors and make sure that the younger generation always has their stories to listen to.
Yeah,
it's always going to be there.
Oh man.
Then we
next up
transitioned to our episode with Berel Wein.
Yes,
which was not in person.
And
we don't love. Still
upset about that. Yeah. By the way, like a month later, he was in America. I'm like, are you kidding me?
We don't love doing like not in person interviews.
I hate doing them.
It's a little awkward. You're sitting there on Zoom.
You know what I
generally don't know when the person stopped talking.
I think if the person is like used to doing Zoom interviews, then they kind of could handle it. But it's very hard. Like, how many people in the Jewish world are so used to doing, like, you have like, actors and stuff like that are so used to it, or like TV anchors, but like the average rabbi isn't so used. Even me, I'm not like, we do interviews, but like, I'm not so good at that.
It's so difficult to gauge, like, hey, when of the persons stop talking, and then Zoom freezes up for a second. That's and true. The whole thing is thrown off. I remember that episode for me was the hardest one to sort of figure out, did he finish his thought? And then I jumped in a few times. Right, exactly. I'm like, wait, no, he didn't finish. But it was really awesome. It was so awesome, really speaking to Berel Wein, who has so much wisdom. Yeah, historian.
It's funny. Before we, like, when we're doing this, my father-in-law said, he's like, okay, I want to get more into history. He's like, I want to listen to Berel Wein, and people go online. Like, we're gonna sound such like millennials. I'm gonna sound like a millennial Gen Z. He has so much, obviously, Torah, but also like so much history. Like, he is one of the people that started it. And what's cool about him is, when you think of a historian, I think you think of like a very boring person. But he totally wasn't boring, and he was actually funny. I don't remember exactly. I have to re-listen to it. That like flight story, something with on the flight. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't.
No? I don't know. It was very fun. I don't remember the exact story.
Since.
Yeah, you have to listen to it. Okay, let's move on to one of my favorite episodes.
What's that?
Naftali Horowitz, the man, the myth, the legend.
Naftali Horowitz is it's a fan favorite.
Yeah,
boasting almost 20,000 views on YouTube.
It's crazy, and that happens when, like, Shimi Adar goes on, and of course Shimi has a massive following. He's not not necessarily a famous person.
He's not an influencer,
right? Yeah. Maybe now he is.
Maybe.
But just so interesting to do you like realize, like, he's not like kind of Hasid. He's like really, really real deal Hasidish. Like, he should be talking with an accent.
Really?
I mean, technically he should. I don't say a tuna Bible, but like technically should be that. But like, he really just like put himself in that world of just trying to be successful, and obviously he is financially, but just in the world of what's the name of his book again?
You Revealed,
right? And he I don't know if it was on when he was on here. He was telling us that he like redid the cover. I think he was talking about that. So yeah, I have the old version. I need to get the new one because the new cover is really cool. But he's out. You know how awesome I thought that episode was, that when we were with Amar'e, and we'll talk more about Amar'e, and then he said, I think he said, which 3 episodes should I listen to? And that was one of the ones that we suggested. Was it? And more than that, you know what happened? Naftali Horowitz said, I want to bring him a book. And yeah, he brought him a book.
Seriously?
Yeah. What?
Where'd you bring it to?
To his apartment.
Really?
I put him in touch with the manager, but yeah, well, I'll talk about Amar'e in the end because everyone fine. But either way. So
it's one of the episodes I think we got the most feedback from.
Yeah.
One of those like everyone.
No, it was just game changing. Just sitting with him, and I know I personally. I mean, I don't know if you tapped into it. Like I've literally called him with like for advice, like financial, or just like he's just a very smart person. Yeah. I'm gonna give feedback. That he gave to me. He's like, you guys were great, but like, you need to be like a little more serious on it. That's what he said.
I'm not surprised.
And I'm like, you know what? I started like arguing back with him. Obviously, I hold him like, I respect him to no end. I really do. But I was like, you know what? I hear that, but I think this is like our show. Like, we aren't professional. That's exactly who we are. We're authentic. And if we try to be a little more polished, okay, obviously there's always room for improvement. I'm not denying it.
Yeah.
But I kind of argue with him. I like the way we're doing this. I really do.
For sure. He's welcome to come back, for sure.
Yes.
And then our Purim episode, which was definitely the most fun episode we've ever done. Sitting down with D-Bash and A.Y. Milstein was a great time. Yeah,
it was fun. And again, I think that was my first time meeting AY.
I think it was everyone's first time.
No one ever but I personally know him for a while at this point, for a year. But it was a lot of fun, and David's hilarious, AY is hilarious. It's great dynamics. Have you been starting to think of like what we're gonna do for Perm this year? I have an idea. I know someone I want to do, and you're gonna be like, it's gonna be too crazy. Should I say it and we could bleep it? Sruly, please bleep this.
Yeah, what?
I'm thinking of having...
That's a little bit crazy.
I know you're going to say that.
I don't know if that's... I don't know.
He might be too crazy.
It might be a little too crazy. I don't know if people can handle him.
I don't know. That's why I'm like... I'm not like sold on the idea. I'm just throwing the idea out there. He's very funny. Yeah, but you have to figure that out.
I don't even know if Perm is ready for that. Like,
that's true. Maybe when Mashiach comes from.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, next up we had Amar'e, but we're going to save Amar'e for the end of this episode. Then we had Rabbi Simon Jacobson.
That was a late night interview.
It was a late night.
A lot of wisdom.
His Uber actually took him like 7 blocks away.
Yeah, that's story time. I don't know. Somehow, it didn't just take him 7 blocks away.
Right.
I don't know if I gave him the wrong address, but they took him to my apartment.
Right. Nachi's wife was like, "Okay, you ready for the interview?"
It was literally like 8-9 blocks away. And he got dropped off there, and he walked from there because we had no idea.
No,
where he was.
I ran.
Oh, you picked him up like halfway.
Yeah. So, but he was really good. I think someone like him is like, obviously we hear a lot of people giving over Torah, and it's nice and it's beautiful. But like, he's someone that like after you talk to him or listen to his shirim, you're like, he's really thinking the next level, like evolutionary. Of like, I vaguely remember his idea of like. He's a revolutionary? Yeah. What did I say? Evolutionary. See, Naftali Horowitz is like, you guys, I'm telling you.
Evolution is like,
right.
Not good. Not
well, it is.
I mean, it's not something we really believe in.
No, I think we might.
About that humans are monkeys?
No, that part, not that part.
YFR, baby.
But hold on, what I was going to say. Like
he's an evolutionary. That's awesome. Put that in his book.
He already like has like some people that aren't whatever. But either way, his idea. Remember his whole idea of like he wants to. What Starbucks did, he was like focusing on not that they like changed the coffee scene. They changed the like chilling scene of it wasn't just about drinking coffee. Like you go to the place and you chill out there and there's music and you work there. He wanted to do that like on a Torah level of just like people like discovering and finding Hashem. Like that's really fascinating. I don't like no. We have people going out there and giving shirim as they should do, but like an idea like that is really powerful. And let's move on to the next episode. Someone that you have some form of a relationship with, because you're friends with her son, right?
Yes.
Rebbetzin Slavy Youngreis Wolf, who was...
Shout out Ellie Wolf.
That's her son?
Class of...
When's the last time you spoke to Ellie Wolf?
It's got to be a couple years.
Yeah? You didn't speak to him since his mother's episode came out?
He may have texted me.
We could have sent it to him. That would have been another download. We're very into the downloads.
I don't know. I honestly don't remember. But
he probably doesn't want to listen to his mother talk. Probably. Like
you?
any... No, I'm saying like any child, you know.
Right.
My mother's listening to this. She's going to kill me for saying that. No, but like it's probably a little like awkward. Like, hey, let's talk to your mother about her life. But yeah, you know what? When someone is very famous like her mother, it's so easy to become, and say, you know, in quotes, the child of Rebbetzin Youngreis. But I really think she like carved out her own path for herself.
Sure.
Obviously, she's going on the coattails of her mother, but like she's a real powerhouse. And yeah, I really enjoyed that episode. I remember in the research, I was talking to, I don't know her name, someone who's not religious. Spoke to her for an hour about how close she is with Rebbetzin Wolf, and she was saying how like she's changed her life. And I'm like while I'm talking to her, I'm like, but you're not religious. It's very interesting. But it was so interesting to hear that she's like, no, but I'm trying to get better. Like I'm trying to, like, I used to not keep Shabbos at all. Now I'm trying to keep Shabbos. I'm like, okay, if I need to drive, I'll drive, but I really am trying to work on it. And that's something like the Rebbetzin Wolf, like all credit to her. Like she's creating these relationships with these women, these men, these people that are just getting closer to Hashem. So that's really nice. Okay, next up.
The big red sweater.
There we go. Okay, for now, let's do a plug for. Aren't you guys coming out with like videos on your Meaningful Minute YouTube channel?
This episode was incredible. Or almost 30,000 views on YouTube. Shlomi Zions.
Yeah.
People
know
him.
Plus all the thousands of downloads.
Yeah, probably over 10,000 downloads.
Red sweater. Actually, a fun story that happened. You know what I'm going to say with Twitter?
I don't.
So on Twitter, I think I tweeted, like, maybe the most famous guy with a red sweater.
Oh,
and someone's like...
Ken Bone.
Someone's like, what about Ken Bone? Ken Bones, I don't know his name. And Ken Bones reacted and he like did like a waving here. Ken Bones, if people don't remember, in
Boner Bones.
In what was it?
It was a presidential election between Hillary and Trump.
Right. What year was that?
2018?
No. Yeah?
I think so. No? 2016.
2016. Yeah, I think it was 2016. And he got like meme status. He got very famous. He didn't know who to vote for. And he was wearing a red sweater.
He was on stage by the debate.
Who did he end up voting for?
I don't know
either. But he was on stage. Either way, he interacted with that tweet, which is very funny. Yeah,
he's awesome.
He's really good. And you know what? You know how this came about? I don't remember. I think I mentioned to you, I said, hey, let's have Peter Santinello on here.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, maybe let's discuss it, but for sure let's have Shlomi Zions on.
Sure.
And yeah, Shlomi's he's great. He's one of the people. I think, by the way, anyone who's come on that, like, whenever I ask him, like, oh, who are we friends with? It's the same type of person. Like Shlomi, him, yeah. Dr. Benji, like it's the people, like they're just really good at keeping connection. But yeah, he's turned into a good friend. And
he's amazing.
He's good.
People should check him out on YouTube.
Yeah.
He's doing incredible stuff.
Everyone knows him. He's so famous, the guy already. And read him in Ami. And he also, by the way, I think I could be wrong here, and he could correct us. He also grew up in like a super Hasidic background. And you would think he would have like, you know, Hasidic accent. And again, it's not bad or good or whatever it is. It's just cool to see that like he totally, you know, mastered the English language. I don't know how to say it.
You're saying the people who are Hasidic don't master?
No, I'm saying when you grow up in a culture where your main language is Yiddish and, you know, as a side you speak English, then you start having a Hasidic accent. I don't know if that's what it's called. And I'm always so impressed with the people that just, you know, like learning a new language. Like when I speak Hebrew, you know I'm American. But we all have those friends that like speak Hebrew and they actually got the language down. It's impressive. Okay, you don't know this, but we just cut out a certain part. Nachi's not feeling well today.
Shut up, no.
No, I'll tell you why.
Why?
I don't know why you're not feeling well. But what I could say is, don't you feel a little better that we have AMR Pharmacy?
Honestly, I don't feel a lot better right now. But
really?
Maybe later.
But in retrospect, you're going to think about it. And you're going to be like, wow, at least I have AMR Pharmacy that I know it's probably just some bug that you don't actually need to use on any occasion. But chas shalom, if it is, I don't know, maybe you have the flu. I don't know.
Yeah.
That would stink. But
Maybe you have it also now.
Yeah, I guess so. So we have the flu. So what would we do?
We go to AMR.
Yeah, 848-222-1110.
AMRPharmRx.com.
Yes, and you get everything you need there. But it's also for people that have like long-term medications,
That's true.
unfortunately, and they need help. And we're in 2021. Who wants to go and wait on a line with a bunch of sick people? You don't need to. They'll just drop it off by your door, and yalla. They'll drop it off by the door. Reb Simon Jacobson will be by the door and be like, "Hey, I'm ready." Yeah, so that's that. Okay, so let's move back into the episode. Okay, Shlomo Zion's great guy, awesome. Check out his stuff. Moving on to it's interesting. It's an interesting contrast. Shlomo was like a very nice and light and fun and inspirational episode, and then we have Avrami Garari.
Yeah.
Definitely our most heavy episode we've done.
Our heaviest episode.
Yeah, heavy episode, and we actually just before this one we re-released it because
at the time of us recording this, it's really around his daughter's first birthday.
Yes. Which, as you probably know, Yocheved Alav Shalom committed suicide, and she left a post talking about how she's in so much pain, etc. It's on Instagram, and she auto said it, and she.
And for those, again, there's a trigger warning on that episode, but if you haven't listened to it yet, you can, I guess, deal with the topics that I've discussed, which are extremely sensitive topics. I suggest listening to it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that I think parents could learn in it about, what do early signs of anorexia look like, and things like that. I think Avrami Garari is an incredible, strong person.
Yeah,
human being.
He's a great writer, and also, we didn't mention on the episode because obviously we wanted to devote it all to talking about
He's an
Yocheved.
incredibly musician.
Yeah, no, he's like, again, I don't know music
Next
as
level.
people can probably tell, but like he really.
How can people tell? Your hair?
I think just when we're talking to musicians, I think it comes out.
Yeah.
Or when we're talking to sports players like Amar'e, it comes out that I don't know the stuff. But he's really like, I've spoken to people like he's a genius when it comes to music.
He is.
And
he knows music. I was going to say he knows music like in the English language, but I think he might know music better than you know the English language.
Oh, that's for sure. That's not a riot at all. Did you see that video of him? It was like going around, like they were playing something by Wedding, and he was like maestroing or whatever it is, and someone did something like a key off, and his reaction was like, "What in the world was that?" But like watching, I'm like, "Oh, this sounds beautiful," but like it was so slight, but like he picked it up in a second.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so I don't know, maybe we'll have him back one day to talk about music. Okay, next up was someone suggested by Rabbi Center. Rabbi Center, after he came on this program, he said, Yaakov, in Nachi, well, he's talking to me, so he's like, Yaakov, you need to have Harry Rothenberg on. I'm
yes.
like, Harry Rothenberg.
Mr. Harry Rothenberg, Esquire.
Yes.
Rolls in on a Sunday with his nice fedora.
Blue hat.
Yeah.
And,
epic person.
And he's a great example of someone that you don't need to be a spiritual leader or have a awesome organization helping a lot of people. You could be a lawyer, a personal injury lawyer, which a lot of times are just called ambulance chasers, but like you could really make a difference in this world.
And he does. He spreads a lot of Torah, and from his experiences, he constantly is finding ways to give back to the Jewish community with his time.
That story is crazy. You know what story I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. We mentioned it in the Amudim thing.
Yes. I don't know if the Amudim thing came out yet, but I'm going to mention it here again that he was talking, whatever, a boy was in a very bad accident, and he was like on like life support, and his mother was like screaming at him to scream to Hashem that, I don't like, we need Mashiach and
to daven for us.
Yeah.
You need to listen to your mother. I'm your mother. You need to listen to me.
Right.
You need to go.
I'm getting chills.
Yeah.
I'm getting chills.
You need to go and you need to beg Hashem to
That's crazy.
end the suffering.
So
How nice that would be, huh?
Yeah, that would be nice. I mean, I'm gonna assume I could bring it up. You're talking about the accident that happened, reference, or just in general.
It sucks.
Right.
There's so many tragedies, and we speak about sometimes Mashiach and all that, and it seems so abstract, but it's a reality. It can actually happen.
It's true. We need Mashiach.
I mean,
that's always, I feel like, the only thing you could say when there's like tons of tragedies. Like you'd be like, We just need Mashiach. Like, there's nothing. That's it. Like that.
Sometimes not sometimes, but that's the only answer. No, you can't bring back anybody that's gone in any other way. No money in the world, no power, no government
really
hookups. You know, we don't have the technology yet to bring people who are passed away back to life and to heal the pain that people experience when they lose somebody. So Mashiach is the only answer, and I think maybe that's what Hashem wants. He wants it to be him to be the only answer.
You're reminding me.
We spoke to David Foreman. Did that episode come out yet?
No, it didn't come out yet.
Get out of here.
Yeah, it didn't come out yet.
I'm so excited for that episode.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. And we have to have him again to finish his story.
People are going to listen to it and they'll realize, Adam and Chava, the sin was that they were attracting themselves to the fruit, but not the tree.
Right.
The fruit is the things that Hashem gives us, but the tree is Him Himself.
Okay, these are spoiler alerts. You're giving away the episode. No, but it's true. It's very true.
Spoiler alert! It's in the Torah. The whole Torah.
No, spoiler alert to the episode. Obviously, no. He has the whole idea. Like we were vibing with him. That was great. Okay, gonna move on.
All the way to Bnei Brak.
Yes, Reb Uri Zohar. Did you know much about him before we had him?
I heard him speak in person.
Yeah?
10 years ago, he came to my camp.
Camp Monk.
Camp Monk.
I feel like this wouldn't be a review episode if Camp Monk didn't come up. Yeah, so I also heard him by in Eretz Yisrael. He spoke by Yossi Orbach's CM, and then actually that's how we got connected to him because I knew Yossi knew him, and Yossi put me in touch with what was the organization again?
Yeah, Lev Lachem. Shuvu?
Yad Lachem, Lev
Lachem.
I mix up things. Yeah, great organization. Either way, so they put us in touch with Uri Zohar, and he's someone that I know we mentioned he looks like Rav Chaim Kanievsky, but similarly,
no one else agreed with us, by the way.
Similar. I don't think people disagreed.
My family, I'm like, this looks like Rav Chaim, and they're like, no, it doesn't.
He totally in that picture, he for sure does. I disagree. I agree with you. I disagree with your family. But similarly to Rav Chaim, he's someone that they told us. They said, okay, he only does these type of interviews. He only does like if it's people are gonna give towards organization. That was like the deal because otherwise he's learning day and night.
Yeah.
And it's just I just want to like paint that picture like again for people. He's someone that was the top of, again, it's not Hollywood in America, but it's Hollywood in Israel, whatever that means. He was the top. So he was extremely wealthy, extremely popular, and he was living it up. And he's like, there's something more. There's something more. And I feel like if so many of us, or at least me, in that situation, I'd be like, I think it'd be good. I think it'd be like, am I missing anything? And it's this theme that like
you'd be good living your life without.
Meaning, I think I would be satisfied with like being famous and having all the money.
Right, but apparently,
the common theme that we're seeing.
But we see that in the world at large that people are just not happy.
It's crazy. It's really crazy.
Even with the most success, how many athletes are going down for DUIs? Like, why are you driving drunk?
Or the statistic of with people winning the lottery. I don't know the number, but like 80% of people are like classified as unhappy or more unhappy
they
after.
They don't have a life, like they go outside and it's like people don't see Uri Zohar for who he really is. They see the actor on TV.
I guess so.
But
it's wild. But now you see him living in people again. This was also through Zoom.
Is who he is.
No, he's like in this tiny apartment, and he's like, "What could be better than studying Torah?"
His whole apartment is Sfarim.
Yeah,
literally.
There's like a little fridge, but I think if we opened the fridge, there would be Sfarim that was inside. And I think his wife was in the background, by the way, here and there. Someone who went with him on this journey. Okay, next up, someone that I actually saw this past Shabbos. I forgot to tell you.
Really?
Yeah.
Where?
In the Whitechapel.
No way.
Yeah, and I guess so. He's probably fundraising. We had Jeff Zeidel, the Kotel guy, and
Shoes.
Really interesting guy. I love his accent. Probably my favorite accent that we have.
Chicago?
Yeah.
I went to the bar.
Yeah, and we've had beautiful accents. I think that was my favorite one. But when I saw him in the Whitechapel, the Shabbos is like the beginning of davening. He just finished his minyan. I was going to my minyan, and I'm like, oh, I just wanted to say a quick hello. He's like, oh, thank you. We're thanking each other. And then he went on to tell me like a 15-minute story. I'm like, I need to go. He's like, but let me tell you this story. It's remarkable. Yeah. And he's telling me like a siddur that someone gave her boyfriend in the army and the thing, and he's buying it. I don't remember the story, but it was classic Jeff Zeidel. It was very fun. It was
then
a very
you ended
fun
up eating a
episode.
meal by somebody random that you have no idea who they are.
Who I mean after that thing. Yeah, he's a good guy. I like episodes like that because he's he's such an interesting character, and like he's obviously doing something very cool with the
He's
whole
also
Kosovo.
like people know him by like how he looks and like who is he, like what, you know, how many interactions does he have with people that are just about here's your meal,
right?
As opposed to like, where do you come from? Who are you? How do you get into this?
Right.
You know, like
It's so interesting.
He probably interacts with thousands of people a week.
Yeah, everyone and anyone. When you go to the Israel, you go to the Kotal, whatever, and you see him. Yeah, really cool guy. Okay, next up.
Rabbi Hanach Teller.
Yes.
Shout out to my in-laws. My in-laws call him Chanochi.
They're like good friends with him?
I think so.
I hope so.
They're good friends with his
one of his kids? 18 kids?
Someone either related to him or, I don't know, my grandmother. Shout out to my grandmother.
Does she listen?
Tovya's. Yes.
Your grandmother's Tovya?
No, her husband is Tovya. He has a Svarim.
So that's probably the connection, because Hanoch Teller probably wrote half of the Svarim or books.
Taka, that probably is.
That's probably what it is.
So yeah,
he's
Chanochi.
He's one of the first people to really introduce that book genre to people.
Storytelling.
Yeah.
Was he the first, or was it Pesach Chronos the first?
I said one of the first. I wasn't sure.
Right. He's also like the first to have 19 kids.
18.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know. Maybe since
I kind of feel like it was 19, but
you know what I loved? I loved that we had him on and we were able to ask him, what's it like to have 18 kids? Like I was
straight up.
I re-listened to that episode because I want to show my wife that episode. So we're driving back from the country.
You guys were discussing whether you should have 18 kids or not.
Mirza Shem.
Yeah.
I don't know if I said this. I'll say it here. So I paid him a visit one time, and I was looking at the wall. I was talking to his wife, and he was like getting something. I was talking to his wife, and I'm like, "Wow, 18 kids. Can I nahara?" And she's like, "Mir Shem by you." I'm like, "Maine." It was like the most unsure of Maine, but I said a Maine. And my joke is that when we had our son, I said, "Okay, Mir Shem, 17 more to go.
Yeah.
We're off to a good start."
Mir Shem.
Amen.
Then onwards, we had this guest on before he had inked a big deal in the North Woodmere Chevra.
Yes.
Rabbi Joe Rosenfeld.
Which, by the way, we took a picture of him, and that's the picture that they use for him, which I like. I'm flattered.
Really?
Yeah. It's him in here.
But he's currently the mashpia at a shul called Kodesh in North Woodmere.
And St. Louis is where he's currently?
St. Louis is where he lives.
And
he's originally from the Five Towns.
Right. So his Rebbe's like Moshe Weinberger, and
like 90% of our guests.
And what's very interesting is that he's like so into learning Zohar.
Yeah.
And don't you remember like in camp, like stories like if you learn Zohar when you're too young, and you don't know the whole Torah Baal Peh. And I don't know, he's like, yeah, I learned Zohar. I totally do it. And he's into spreading light and mysticism. And it's interesting to see someone so deep use Twitter. You know what I mean? Like, it's such an interesting contrast. And I always love his tweets. Really good. He goes like, Torah is, and then he like goes through all the great sages and like each of their translations of like what the Torah is. Yeah. Or Hanukkah, like what is Hanukkah? And they say like the one word that sums it up for them. It's really smart. And I really like that. But he's just the easy person to talk to. I don't exactly remember his title, like psychologist or something like that. But I understand why people like talking to him. Just a easy person to talk to, Yeah. Okay, let's move on to our second to last person we're talking about on this episode, Dr. Shana Friedman.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm pronouncing her last name right.
Friedman.
Yeah, not Friedman?
I think so.
She's doing incredible work. We should have worn our purple yarmulkes that she gave us.
Yeah, I don't know where they are, but I think they're over there.
Oh, we still have them?
Yeah, I think so.
It came actually with a clip in it.
Yeah,
which is very smart. But yeah, it's not really my thing to wear a purple yarmulke.
No,
but I support them, so it's
Shalom Task Force.
Yeah, really
doing big stuff. They're doing big stuff. That episode is about domestic abuse. Very informative episode.
Yeah, definitely very educational. And my favorite part about having her on is when she tells us, like, by the way, you should know, we got, I don't remember, it's been a while.
Of calls.
Yeah, because someone listened and they didn't know this resource existed until that. I'm sure a lot of people know what it is, but I don't know. A lot of people didn't know.
That episode, again, it gave people who wanted to call the courage to call and sort of seek help. And we hope everyone gets the help they need and everything turns out great.
It's not like I think people could feel like it's maybe a cop-out to call for help and a resource. It's what they want. That's why they're there. They're free. People could call and get the help they need and know that they're not alone. And we live in a scary world, scary time. Crazy things are happening. And their Shelton Task Force is definitely a good force. Actually went to, you didn't make it to it.
Task Force is a good force.
That's funny. I didn't think about that. I was going to say, my English language is the best. You didn't make it to it. They made like a ping pong fundraiser type of thing.
Yeah.
I went there. Morty Shapiro was there.
Nice.
He was very into ping pong.
He is. He's very good at ping pong.
Is he? Is it like a known thing?
Yeah, he's like
he was taking it very seriously.
I think he's good at ping pong.
Like I was there. I'm like, oh, great food. And I was like watching everyone.
Were you in the ping pong tournament?
No, but my mother-in-law was.
Your mother's.
She came in from the country because she's like, oh, I love the event. It's such a nice event. And the beautiful organization.
Did she play ping pong?
Yes.
Is she good?
She's not as good as Morty Shapiro, but she's good.
Could we get a match between your mother-in-law and Morty Shapiro?
My mother-in-law would happily do it. Morty Shapiro would never do it.
Why not?
It doesn't seem like his type to do it.
Maybe
he would. Maybe he listened. I don't think he listened.
Who would win though?
I think he would.
You think he would?
My mom-in-law's good, but
you hear that, Mrs. Elephant? Your son-in-law.
Yeah, she's not.
Your own son-in-law.
She's not listening to the podcast.
No.
Let's talk about that.
Your mother-in-law doesn't listen?
I'm curious. Does your wife listen to the podcast?
Of course.
Really?
She does. I don't, but she does.
Oh, well, obviously, not obviously. I guess, we don't. But my wife doesn't listen to the podcast.
She doesn't?
No.
Why not?
Podcasts are not her thing.
Really?
Yeah. I've got, when there are episodes that I think are like really important or great to hear. So like Naftali Horowitz's episode.
Right. So you'll tell her
Shelton Task Force episode. Naftali Hanoch Teller, Rabbi Hanoch Teller.
So she listens to most of them.
No, I said 3 out of, 65. How many do we have?
Okay.
No, she's more of an audiobooks person.
Audiobooks?
Yeah.
Over podcasts?
Yeah. She loves books.
That's got to be
likes
first.
Listening.
That's got to be
No, I'm
first.
sure there's a lot of people like that. But I always find it interesting when people, like when the podcast comes up, like you probably feel this also, like people are always awkward to like try to give over that like, oh, I'm not up to date. And I'm like, you don't need to be up. Like, I don't care.
My answer always is, neither am I.
Oh, really?
Oh, I didn't listen to it. Neither did I.
That's
like,
funny.
Don't worry.
No, do you hear what I'm saying? Like people get a little awkward about it. Like when they meet me, it's like as if I'm like, did you listen to every single episode? Like that's how they feel. And I'm like, no, like if you listen to one, great. And
yeah, I hear. I think so. I mean, no sweat. It's no hard feelings.
It's fine. No one's listening to this.
So 1 second.
So
do your in-laws listen to the podcast?
My mother-in-law listened in the beginning, but she's not a phone person in general. She's a ping pong person.
Okay.
But my father-in-law, he listens. I know my parents listen, very much so. Like my father and mother listen.
Yeah, they're big fans.
And my
Reb David and Rebbetzin Penina.
Yes. Yeah.
Fans.
How do you know their names?
They're big fans. They make
their
their support known.
I know your father's name, Larry. Obviously, everyone knows your father's name. I don't know your mother's name.
Esther Gordon.
I was saying Malika, but that's your sister,
no,
right?
Malki's my sister.
Malki.
Yeah.
Esther.
They listen.
Like Queen Esther.
Almost.
Your parents listen?
Yeah. They give me feedback.
Hold on.
Weekly.
Does your father do what I do? My father does. My father says, "You had Rabashkin?" This is a true story. He's like, he was in the same elementary class as him.
100%.
You have the same thing. And my father's upset. He gets upset at me. I'm not kidding.
Same here.
He's like, Yaakov, you have to call me before every guest. I'm like, it's not so easy. A lot of times
Same
you're
here.
last second.
We had Dean Goldschmidt.
Yes. He's a doctor
on the podcast, and my father's like, "Did you mention that his brother-in-law is, I think it's his brother-in-law, somehow related, is David Hollander?" I'm like, who's David Hollander? Is a cousin of ours who was all of a sudden. I'm like, no. He's like, why not? Like, I'm like, I don't know.
Literally,
there's so many guests. There's so many things that like I had on this person or that person. Like, did you ask this? No. Why not?
Literally every episode, my father has something to say. I'm like, listen, if it's like relatable enough, like Moshe Weinberger, we went to the same bungalow colony, so I'll
Yeah.
bring that in, but I'm not going to mention how, you know, like.
I love when people play Monday morning quarterback with us, though.
What do you mean?
Like,
Was that out of
episode comes out Monday morning quarterback? It's like they basically go through what happened after the fact.
Oh.
Like, you should have said this. You should have said that. You should have said.
But you know what happens at this point? Like, Baruch Hashem, we're so ahead. Like, we have, let's say, as we're recording this, we have 10 episodes
that
ready to
episode
go.
was done 4 months ago.
Yeah, so
I don't even remember.
I legitimately don't remember a lot of the. I mean, I remember
People come over to me and they ask me. They say, like, "So, we knew what episodes are coming out?" And I say, "I'm like, I honestly don't even know. I don't even know. We have episodes coming out, and I thought the Rabbi Foreman one came out already. It didn't. You know,
Right.
I have no clue.
No, it gets a little confusing because, yeah, we're having these conversations with them, and then we have another
like
conversation.
imagine I quiz somebody. Who'd you speak to 4 months ago?
Right.
And who do you speak to? I don't know. Like,
Do you think it's gonna come to a point where we do this and like Mir Hashem, it should go well, but like we're at 1,000 episodes, let's say.
Yeah.
Are we gonna like totally not remember even at all an episode? Do you think we'll be that scale?
I don't
Like,
know.
do you think Joe Rogan remembers every person he's spoken to?
Yeah, I mean, like if you, I don't think you'll be able to name it like off the back of your hand, but I think like if you see somebody in the street, generally you'll know if you've spoken to them for an hour.
No, I won't forget that they exist, but like,
No, but you'll know like, oh, I spoke to him.
like, could you?
If someone brings up the name, right?
Yeah, okay, I hear
If
that.
if 5 years from now someone says the name
Rav Moshe Dan.
Kessenbaum,
Yeah.
you'll know, oh, I did a podcast
Right,
with him.
right.
You'll know.
Do you think like, let's say like even from our earlier episodes, could what's it called when they used to like record over what the Rebbe said on Shabbos? What's that called?
Sicha? Chayzer?
Chayzer.
Yeah.
Do you think you could Chayzer episodes?
Are you kidding
like
me?
if I say Reb Ari Dembi.
I can't
like,
Chayzer what I said 10 minutes ago. Chayzer episodes.
no, like okay, fine. Could you say like 3 points that were made or spoken about in every episode?
Not from Ari Demonster's episode.
And just for the people, that was like I don't know, like a 4th or 5th episode.
Nah, I can't. First of all, it was like 1 a.m.
I changed the thumbnail on that recently.
I saw.
You
realized.
did?
Yeah, I realized that.
Yeah.
I can't. No. The answer is no. The answer
Yeah,
is no.
I don't
I
think
come home and my wife asks me, "So what did you speak about?" And I can't even answer. I don't even know.
No, that part I could say. It is hard.
Sometimes I like give over a few things, but
because
like,
it's not a share. It's not like we're having a conversation. It's very hard to like go back
Dissect a
and like,
conversation.
It's hard. It's hard. Okay, so let's
speak about Amar'e Stoudemire.
Amar'e Stoudemire.
Everyone wants to know about Amar'e Stoudemire.
Yeah. Okay. First off, I was. By the way, I was thinking if we should do an episode just about our experience with him. Like I don't know, like a few weeks after, but never happened. But
People, first things first.
yeah,
First things first. People should know.
I know what you're gonna say.
People reach out to us all
Yes.
the time. How could Amar'e Stoudemire come to my show?
I know people reached out to me, like 10 people at least, and I'm sure tens of people reached out to
A.B.
you.
Rothenberg called me.
No way. Really?
Literally called me asking something about
Was him
Amar'e
on a
stuff.
song?
Whatever. I don't want to.
By the way,
I don't know if it's happening or not. But
pause there. We want to have A.B. Rottenberg, and he's
course.
down to do it. He was in
Yes.
America.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's from Canada. He was in America, but didn't work out. But
Yeah.
we'll get him.
That's a shame. But yeah, people really,
Yeah. So
want Amar'e, and even yesterday someone asked me about like,
Really?
how do I get him to come here for a Shabbos?
right.
I'm just like
So I'll say it like this:
it's not Heimish with
when
him.
we tried getting him, it was. Everyone we spoke to was like, "Oh, Mari, like I'm good friends with him."
Yeah,
and we're
right?
like, "Okay, they're gonna hook it up." And I think there's one person in particular that happens to be on his Instagram all the time. He is actually good friends with him, but other than him, everyone else has some interactions with him. And I think that they really feel it, and Amar'e gives that over. And when we met him, I felt like his best friend. I really
Yeah.
did.
He walked in like, "Hey, what's up, fellas?"
Yeah, like and after we're schmoozing, we're chilling with him. We made a WhatsApp chat together.
Yeah.
It's Nachi, me, and Amar'e Stoudemire on a WhatsApp chat.
It's true.
And he's like, "Yeah, don't worry, send over the information, and yeah, I'll share it." And like, we really do. And I still, in a certain way, feel like his friend. But then when he didn't answer our WhatsApp messages, then I'm like, maybe we're not as close.
Yeah,
boys
completely ghosted us. We love
Yeah.
you though, Amar'e.
Yeah.
But
We
maybe,
sent him-
listen, maybe he doesn't use
I send him
WhatsApp.
a few shidduchim, not
Really?
my ideas. Yeah, people message meaningful
Maybe
people
that's why he
at
doesn't answer you.
gmail.com. No, he asked for shidduchim. He's trying to find his zivug.
Yeah.
He said it interestingly, like a zivug.
How about the most brought up part of that podcast that I get, and I could be the most random place and someone say, "Hey, Malkia Tzedek.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
I'm like, yeah, I don't know.
You know what I just saw?
What that was.
Yeah, someone commented that it's Yashka, but it's not. That's like fear. But yeah, so Amar'e teaches us.
How do you say it again? Malak.
Something. Yeah, he pronounced it very.
I didn't even know what word.
It's also someone in the Torah that like comes up very quickly in like Parshas Noach.
That's who you'd want to meet.
Bereshis. Yeah, very interesting. You were. Let's talk about it. We were both very nervous. Of course, I got COVID.
More nervous than you. Yeah, we had this interview scheduled 2 times.
Yeah, I avoided COVID for as long as I did.
I was laughing. I'm not gonna lie, but we were supposed to do this interview on a Monday, and it was Motzei Shabbos. And you weren't feeling well on Friday, and you took a COVID test.
Yes.
Then Motzei Shabbos, you texted me positive.
Yeah.
And I'm not a mean person, but Yaakov was literally staying indoors, wearing a mask, not going anywhere because of this interview.
Yes.
And he got COVID, and I was just like,
it was going around.
Wow, Yaakov Langer.
It was going around my building, but of course, I don't know, like 3 weeks later, we rescheduled it, and he was very cool about it. But yeah, that's Hashem running the world. But yeah, let's talk about it. I was definitely nervous, but I got less nervous by how nervous you were. Because for me, I'm like,
that's comforting for me.
I definitely heard him before. No, I like balance it. I don't know. I don't know if everyone's like that. Like I get balanced out. It happens with my.
You get less nervous when other people are more nervous,
and vice versa.
No,
like if you were super calm, I'd be like, I don't know. Now I'm still like, why is he so calm? I'm so nervous.
Luckily, that's never an issue because when am I ever super calm going into an episode?
I guess not.
So you're generally not. I take one for the team.
Yeah. So yeah, okay. You growing up, let's talk. Let's be straight up. Like, were you legit?
Yeah,
Amar'e Stoudemire fan.
I mean, come on. I was a huge.
I don't know. I wasn't. I didn't know much. I mean, I heard about. I definitely heard about it.
Of course, Amar'e Stoudemire is a baller.
You had his jersey?
Of course.
Really?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Amar'e Stoudemire was like he was the guy.
Wow.
New York got him.
And that was before you knew he was like into Judaism, or
there was. You understand? There was no.
That wasn't even a thing.
It wasn't even a thing.
Really?
He was just balling on the Knicks.
Wow.
He was getting to the playoffs the first time in years for the Knicks, and he had this like 11-game stretch where he had over 30 points each game, and he was killing it, and everyone loved him. He was getting MVP chance, and then of course the Knicks got Carmelo Anthony, and that was the end of that. But he had a good run, and it's just crazy what happened with him.
It's crazy.
Crazy that I kept looking at him when we were sitting there with him, like, are you kidding me?
It's really wild.
Are you kidding me? I'm looking at his tattoos. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like,
it's so crazy.
Wearing this hat and like this whole thing is just, man. Hashem
kind of feels surreal.
Hashem runs the world.
You think we'll ever do another episode with him?
I don't think so.
No,
I don't. I mean, maybe like I don't see why we would.
No, just continue the conversation, talking about his journey.
Sort of like a follow up.
Yeah, there's also like we probably could have spent another 2 hours with him just talking about his journey and going into like different stories and stuff like that. I don't know. I mean, it's there's definitely.
I suppose.
Should I say the 3 people that were like on the Rushmore list of
people we want?
Yeah.
We might differ. I think Rushmore was 4, no? How many people are on Rushmore?
For our show, it's 4.
Okay.
But for our show, yeah, we differ? Meaning, hold on, let me just put this straight. Obviously, like someone like Rav Chaim Kanievsky would be, I'd love to have him, and he's not going to ever come on. And
we don't speak like the language.
Yeah, and nor he should. This isn't for him. Yeah. There's obviously also a lot of Rabbanim and holy, Halig, awesome people that Baruch Hashem are attainable. There's, to my mind, 3 individuals that I would love to have on, but I don't think they would necessarily do it. But Amar'e was one of them. So
who are the other 2?
Okay. So next one is, and I think this year we're going to start going after him, is Ben Shapiro.
Ben, we're coming for you.
Yeah.
And we're going to get
you.
He
retweeted me like a few weeks ago.
I saw that.
But yeah, I think people suggested to have him. Like he's a.
It's the same thing with Amar'e though.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, "Oh, Ben, I can get you Ben."
I don't know.
A lot of people say, "I can get you Ben Shapiro."
Yeah, people say that's true.
Let's go, fellas.
But
make it
so
happen.
I said the reason why we haven't gone after him or the next person is because Amar'e Stoudemire, to go after him was so draining. Like Baruch Hashem, we finally got him, but it was so hard to like this and that. Like mentally, it was just to get him. It was so hard. So I'm like, in my head, I'm like, 2021 is just like Amar'e's year. Maybe 2022 is Ben's year.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it'll be easier to get him than it was Amar'e. But yeah, he's next on the list. I think he would do it, honestly.
I think so too.
We might have to go to him.
Timing, yeah.
With general rule, we don't like going to places because it's just so much harder for us.
I'll go to Florida though.
Yeah, if there's a place to go, it's definitely Florida.
Yeah.
And then wait, who our lists differ? I think it's the same.
Who's that third? Mount.
The third one is, I'm not sure which one of them, but I think it'd be a very interesting conversation, is Ivanka Trump. Jared Kushner. I don't know if it's them together. It's very interesting.
I think it's interesting. I just wonder. I don't know.
Very interesting. I don't know.
It might be a little too political.
Oh, yeah. Oh, politically. I mean, Ben Shapiro is also very political.
Yeah,
no?
but he's not a Trump.
No, not for the Trump aspect, but if you have someone who's not Jewish, and Jared Kushner is Jewish, is religious from what I understand, and then his wife becomes from Yid, and then her father becomes the president, and she's...
I just think like people... I just don't know how people would react.
I don't know, but you know what?
I think people would just be like, ah!
Maybe. But you know what? At least my goal here is like, I just want to do great episodes, talk to people, and like give people inspiration. And there's so many different types of people. Okay, maybe like they're super Republican. Okay, so maybe we'll have someone that's super Democratic. Actually, I have a Rav who's super Democratic that I actually want on. His name escapes me.
You slowly bleep it out.
No. Oh, why? No. He's awesome.
I know, but still, like, just in case we don't.
Oh, this
have
part?
No, the bleep out if you say his name.
Oh, I don't remember his name. Shoots, I don't remember his name.
Guess we're not having him.
No, we're gonna. No, he's awesome person. But yeah, I think like we're not. I think at least I see like I'm in the middle over here. Like we're not. This isn't a political show at all. Like obviously, like we barely ever bring up politics.
Right.
I think politics are boring and dumb. That's what I think.
Politics are amazing, just not something we want to bring up on the show.
I hate politics, but that's just my thing. But like no, like it's not a political thing. I think it's a very interesting. How many people could say they're religious Jew and their father was the president? It's interesting. It's very interesting.
A little bit.
You know?
A little bit interesting.
The Kushners, there's a lot to talk to them about that.
Okay, well, that's our review for the first half of 2021.
Yeah. Yeah, look out next week.
Kicking off our next review with a big one. Robbie Stefanski, MDY.
Yeah.
Boy, did that blow up.
Oh my gosh.
Since when we first spoke to him.
Yeah, let's save it for the next episode.
But we will jump into that. Until then.
Yeah, and if you're not subscribed on YouTube or Apple or Google or Spotify or Shmaslili, I made up that one, then it's a new streaming.
Oh,
service.
Squibbly?
Squibby?
Squibby.
No, Quibi.
Quibi.
That's not around anymore. Yeah, so subscribe anywhere, and leave in the comments what your favorite episode from the ones that we reviewed was and why. And yeah, until next time, you could be meaningful.
No. You can't. I mean, you could, but like that's not. You could be meaningful.
Naki Gordon, you can't be meaningful.
But that's not our slogan.
I'll change it up. We'll find it.
You could be meaningful. What does that mean? Everyone's meaningful.
So I don't want to say.
Everyone has intrinsic value. I mean, you could be meaningful.
So I think. Okay. So you want me to tighten it up? I think it's nice that right now, as of today, everyone's not yet at their final destination because they're still living. Exactly.
Okay.
So you could always strive. Right now, I think a lot of people listen and get, turned down. They say like, well, I'm not the head of this organization that's dishing out thousands of dollars to kids with cancer.
So maybe you can make a difference, but you could be meaningful. You're already meaningful.
I hear.
We're chosen, baby. We're the chosen people.
I hear.
You got godliness,
Okay, I kind of hear
running
that.
through your blood.
Okay, so maybe on this part 2 of this, we'll start with that. We'll do that. Okay.
Ciao.